Merry Christmas!
On the first day of Christmas, my true love gave to me a partridge in a pear tree. On the second day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 2 turtle doves and a partridge in a pear tree.
Merry Christmas!
The Mercenary.
I think we'll go with a little
Mixtape Monday.
XX to each other. Party on, dude!
Party on, guys.
It was Christmas Eve, babe, in the drunk tank. An old man said to me, won't see another one. And then he sang a song, the rare old mountain tune. I turned my face away and dreamed about you. Got on a lucky one, came in like 10 to 1. I've got a feeling this year's for making you. So happy Christmas, I love you, baby. I can see a better time when all our dreams come true.
All right. So, because I pull my live streams down as soon as I'm done with them, I'm no longer worried about copyright strikes. So, I figured why not start it out Christmas time with my Christmas countdown, Christmas intro, and the greatest Christmas song in history, Fairy Tale of New York. To Shane MacGowan, cheers to you, good sir. A wonderful, fantastic songwriter, lyricist, pioneer in his own right in everything that he did. Left us this past Thursday, singer-songwriter of the Pogues. Cheers and Godspeed onto your next adventure. So, we're gonna talk about Pogues. We're gonna talk about, I don't know, I would say all sorts of other stuff, but I actually don't really have a lot of other stuff, so we're just gonna hang out. Hopefully those of you that are watching are drinking, because as I always say also during my gigs, I've got some funny stories from the last minute gig this weekend as well. But as I always say at my gigs, the more you drink, the better I sound. So much like when I'm doing my YouTube stuff, when I'm doing my live streams, the more you drink, either the more or less sense I make, but it might be entertaining. So thank you all so much for being here. I think as of my last tally that I looked, I am up to 359 subscribers. Probably won't happen, but hey, let's see if we can hit 400 by the end of the year. Hit a big spike there back in August when I was talking about Oliver Anthony. I think I got shadow banned for a little while because I was using all the words that YouTube tells you not to say when I talked about the band, The Defiant. I think I'm kind of recouping. I'm coming back a little bit. But also, as things often happen, life happens. I get busy. I don't have time to do my short form videos. I'm doing the live streams. I try to pluck out some clips from the live streams to do it. But problem with using StreamYard the way that I do, I don't have the most expensive plan of StreamYard. So when I pull videos from live streams, it's only 720p. And in this game of YouTube, quality is king. So when the video is not top-notch quality, trying to pull something, edit it, put it back out there, lesser quality, everything suffers. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I still got some live streams here that I can pull some content from. But to those of you who are here live, thank you for being here, hanging out. Let's just very quickly go through and see who is already giving me shit for the evening. Who is always just as polite as can be. I'd always love to see you in the chat. Jacob Ironside, good evening to you, sir. Thank you so much for being here. We've got my father from another family who is awesome. Often, words are hard. Who is often mistaken for my father, even though he's not, but technically could be if your life had gone in a very different direction. Roman of the Empire, good evening to you, sir. No, there will be no nudity on this channel because I'm already having a hard enough time being shadow banned, canceled, whatever else. Last Tuesday, I had to do it a day late because I was flying back home from visiting family. I talked about the Disneyland streaker who got out of the boat and walked around the set pieces of It's a Small World and then actually did completely strip down naked and jump in the water at the ride and was arrested, was dragged out through the park, which I still think is odd because Disneyland has a lot of backstage areas where the employees, better known as cast members, can move about and not be in different lands or different areas out of costume and out of character. They dragged this guy literally through the park in front of families and children and whatever, but I still did not play that whole video. I played a portion of it, but I didn't play the video where the guy actually got naked because nobody needs to see that. Nobody wants to see that on this channel. It doesn't need to be out there. If you're at Disneyland and you want to take some edibles, you want to take some mushrooms, you know what? Knock yourself out. If you're a consenting adult, that's none of my business. That's whatever. But know your doses, figure it out, and try to refrain from stepping outside of the ride vehicles while a ride vehicle is in motion. And especially, I cannot stress this enough, when you're at Disneyland, do not strip down naked and jump into the water portion of a water ride, because then you change from just going to Disney jail, where you'll probably be banned from the parks for life, to where then you go to real jail. So all that being said, I digress. No nudity on this channel. We keep it semi-family friendly. I try not to cuss. I usually get worked up and I end up cussing. It happens, you know. It is what it is. And as always, would not expect anything less. Lady Marine has already downvoted the video, but here we are. And cheers to you as well. Thank you for being here. All right. Yes. The Fortune and Glory. God, that last Indiana Jones movie was so terrible. Hey, Cajun's got one as well. Good to see you, sir. Thank you for being here. I know. It's a running joke. Has anyone here in the chat actually seen Indiana Jones: The Dial of Destiny, or am I the only person who's a glutton for punishment? Because not to totally like derail and get off topic before we even get onto a topic, but good Lord, I knew it was going to be bad. But I've been watching the Indiana Jones movies literally my entire life because they came out before I was born. Well, the first two came out before I was born. I've been watching the Indiana Jones franchise literally my entire life, and the ending at the Last Crusade, where he literally rides off into the sunset with his father, was the perfect ending. That was it. It was a trilogy. I think movies are really good in trilogies. You get a beginning, middle, end. You end it. He rides off into the sunset on a horseback with his dad. Perfect ending. And then the Crystal Skulls. And then now the Dial of Destiny. And it just felt like such a... He deserved better than that. Indiana Jones deserved better than that ending in the Dial of Destiny. But I will leave it up to the rest of you in the chat. If anyone has seen it, chime in, comment, whatever. Anyways, so over the weekend, I thought I was gonna have the weekend off, and the universe had other plans. Yeah, I am not proud to admit that I spent money to see that turd in theaters. And there's something about going to see a movie when you're paying money to see something in the theater and you're already walking in going, I know this is going to be bad, but I'm so curious. That was my my thought process. Well, we had what's her name, Phoebe Waller-Bridges, what the hell her name is, whatever, had to of course come in and be the snarky strong female lead that was going to be better than Indy, smarter than Indy, and all the male characters. Because remember, in Kathleen Kennedy's world now, it's not good enough to just have a strong female lead character, which I'm going to put this out there to the chat also. I don't think anyone in the chat here has ever been bothered or intimidated by strong female leads in movies. I give you Ripley from the Alien franchise. I give you Sarah Connor from the Terminator franchise, just to name a few. They were able to be strong and independent and lead the charge in their own right without having to tear down the male characters in their respective franchises. Now, apparently, the only way to be a strong female lead is to tear down the male characters and be better and smarter and snarky and sarcastic, and just everyone else is stupid. She really bothered me, and apparently now she's in the running to be the next Lara Croft, Tomb Raider. Like, oh. But the ending of Dial of Destiny was such a non-ending. I'm gonna forever be a broken record about this, that the Last Crusade, which I think they called it the Last Crusade for a reason, Steven Spielberg, you son of a bitch. The Last Crusade was the perfect ending to Indy's story arc, trilogy, everything. The ending of the Dial of Destiny was such a non-ending, and I'm just like, he deserved better than this. And I can't imagine Harrison Ford needed the money. I mean, the guy's been around forever. Like, unless he's really irresponsible with money, I don't know, man. Yeah, it was definitely a low point. Didn't understand why Indy was working at a crap college and living in a crap apartment. See that? Okay, that's the other thing. That was the other thing that got me about this movie. Is you go back and watch the original 3, he was this very well-respected professor. He was this world-renowned, known adventurer, explorer, whatever. I mean, the young girls in his college classes had crushes on him. The students, male and female, were clamoring to get to his office and talk to him more and pick his brain more after his lectures. The beginning of the Dial of Destiny, he's just this like old, decrepit, like washed up professor that they're like forcing into retirement, and they give him this crappy little desk clock to say like, oh, thanks for your years of service, go retire. And it's like, how did he go from being such a well-respected member of society to them just being like, here's a clock, go retire? Like, they gave him the Luke Skywalker treatment. They gave him the Han Solo treatment. They just everything about the movie was just like this character that people have loved for the last 40 plus years. They're like, you're no longer important. Go away. I have watched that movie once and exactly once. I will never watch that movie again. Actually, so much so that when I finally bought the Indiana Jones box set on DVD, it came with the Crystal Skull. I haven't done it yet, but I want to throw away that fourth disc because I will literally never watch it ever again. It's another one that I didn't see it in theaters, but I spent money to rent it from Blockbuster. I'm that old. And when the friggin' pyramid started spinning and turned into a UFO, I was literally screaming at my TV. I was watching it alone in my house. I had roommates, but the roommates were either at work or they were in their bedrooms or whatever. But I was watching this in my living room alone, and I literally started screaming at my TV because the Crystal Skulls was so bad. Perfect ending. Perfect ending. Yeah, Temple of Doom was kind of weird. But I mean, it doesn't do anything for continuity purposes, but it's there. But I don't hate the Temple of Doom like I hate Crystal Skull and Dial of Destiny. Don't do it. Don't do it. There are 3 Indiana Jones movies: Raiders of the Lost Ark, Temple of Doom, Last Crusade. That's it. That's all you need. All those other discs can go in the trash. Woo! All right. So, thought I was going to have the weekend off from gigs. Saturday night, my I often refer to as my coworker, my counterpart in my musical gig side hustle part-time job that's starting to feel like a full-time job, whatever it is, whatever I'm doing. Texted me Saturday night, hey, you want the morning shift? Meaning, do I want to play the brunch hour Sunday morning? So I took it. I'd been out of town the week before, so I thought, okay, I've been off for 2 weeks. It'd be good to get another gig under my belt, get some money, rapidly paying off those credit cards, man, paying down that debt. Oh, you know what? You know what I need to do before we really get moving? Because it is the season, we need some Christmas lo-fi beats. Where did you go, Spotify? There we go. All right. Nope. What the? Why does my computer hate me? You know, you think you know how to do stuff. Drag this window back over here. All right. Let's get some lo-fi beats going here. Let me know in the chat if you can hear the music or not. I think I have figured out how to do this correctly, but all right, let me hold on. One more distraction, which is good because we're killing time. I have no idea what I'm talking about tonight other than the Pogues. I could talk about my days in the Irish bands, maybe even play some videos. That might be fun because, again, I don't really care about the copyright strikes anymore. I take this stuff down as soon as it's over. Got it. Perfect. Thank you, Jacob. Invite. There we go. I'm having some boomer moments here, man. All right. We're going to have a guest joining us here shortly. So the main topic of the night, of the evening, whatever time you're tuning in. This might have to fix something. Stop share entire screen. Nope, let's do that. Hopefully the music's still playing. I'm trying to figure out how to have the music play, but also be able to share some photos. Again, let me know if the music died out, but we're gonna keep on plugging along here. So, in another life, I myself played in an Irish band that did do some Pogues covers, did covers of all sorts of different sorts. It's me playing a little harmonica back before, and oh man, look, my left arm is not completely sleeved out quite yet. I'd actually just be able to use both my hands to play the harmonica, and then I didn't have to use all sorts of weird different apparatuses and whatnot to use the harmonica while playing. Can I get rid of this side thing? There we go. Rocking the mandolin there. So we had, let's see, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, drummer 6. So eventually we added an electric guitar. So at one point this band had 7 members in it. Our bar tab did not go very far. But it was fun. I played some banjo, played some mandolin, played some harmonica. Once in a while, picked up an acoustic guitar, some backing vocals. But I was never like the main guy in charge. I wasn't the one leading the charge. I wasn't the guy singing the songs. If you look very closely, you can see a very short-lived mohawk over here that I was rocking. Let's see if I can zoom in without... Nah, it's going to get weird. That's as far as I can zoom in. Yeah. So every once in a while, I used to get a wild hair and buzz my hair into a mohawk. I'd keep it for maybe a couple days, a week or so, and then get rid of it. You are correct, sir. But I will admit that I think that Roman is much more memeable than I am. But I always... take it with a sense of pride that when I have been memed, I am like, okay, like I've made it. I'm a meme now. Oh man, and not only if you can see, not only the mohawk, but look how blank my left arm is. I had my elbow and like some of the faux tribal stuff there that I later changed and whatnot, and I don't even own that guitar anymore. I'm so happy I'm a Martin man now because Ibanez guitars are solid for the cost and what you need them to do, but Martin, there's second to none. So there, this drummer here, my good friend Brenton, he was the drummer in my first ever band when we were 16 years old, and we got in the garage with a couple other friends and made some noise, played some shows. So, unfortunately, I have lost touch with this guy. He's one of the most solid, legit individuals I've ever met in my life, but we've lost touch. I don't know where he is at this point in time, but this is kind of a fun full circle thing for us in that we were in our first band together at 16 years of age, and then here we are in our early 20s playing in Irish pubs. This actually is at... Brick by Brick. The only person here that would know what that is Roman. If you're here in San Diego, Brick by Brick is a well-known small local venue, which we'll see some other pictures here from. So here's the stage, Brick by Brick, which is fairly small, but I forget the name of the other band we were playing with, but this was a night where there was an Irish band, Scottish band, whatever they were. They're all wearing kilts and stuff. They came up, they played a set before us, and then my band, Lexington Field, came up and played, and then we did a song where the guys from the other band came up and joined us. So there is at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 people on a fairly small stage. Very fun show. Many years ago. A different life, different lifetime. So here we are again. The guy in the kilt is not in my band, but he was one of the other bands. He came up, he joined us. And at that point, this guy Tony playing upright bass, and he would do all the crazy stuff where he would like lift it up, spin it around. Sometimes he would lay it over on his side, and then Cammy over here playing violin would stand on top of the bass and play while he was, he was a showman. He was definitely a performer. I'm over there playing the banjo, got my foot up on the monitor, just rocking out. This is still one of my favorite pictures of myself because it was very candid. It was not posed, I promise. I didn't know they were taking it. But this is, so that stage you're just looking at, that door is just over here to, if you're looking at the stage, over to the right of the stage. So just before you walk out onto the stage. So we're backstage. It's just about our time to go up. I've got my pinstripe shirt, got my fedora. My ears were stretched out to about an inch at the time. Baby face other than just the goatee. Right arm was totally sleeved. Left arm was slowly going. But just backstage waiting to hit the stage. And it was very candid. It was very just... I always liked this photo. But I was... Jesus, I don't know. 22, 23 years old in this picture. So... no gray hairs yet. This is a little pub in Ocean Beach that we played at all the time that is no longer in existence. Again, a very, very small stage for a 7-piece band. So these were my days of being in an Irish band, and these were the days where I first discovered the Pogues. Oh God, that's... all right. Look at that one for a minute. I'm sure this will get memed. Left arm is so blank. Because we covered Flogging Molly, we covered Dropkick Murphys, we would do Johnny Cash, we would do the Beatles, we would do all sorts of different stuff, but we would do it in what was described as American fiddle rock. But these are the days where I first discovered the Pogues, because we would cover Fairy Tale of New York. We played Streams of Whiskey. We played Dirty Old Town. We played Wild Rover. You know, all these songs that some of them were Pogues originals. Some of them were songs that they just made famous by playing traditional Irish songs. Yeah, so good times. A different lifetime. A lifetime ago. I'm kind of bummed. I thought don't have the pictures from the Belly Up show. That's kind of a bummer. So that was that. Right around my exit from the band, they were in the studio recording some songs. I recorded some banjo and some mandolin on some of the songs. When they officially released them and even made some music videos, they removed my parts, because even though I guess I was no longer in the band and I thought it was amicable and we left on good terms, they removed the parts that I recorded from their music videos, from their final stuff. But 2 songs here where I don't think I actually played on the recordings, but there are videos, so we can kind of delve a little deeper into the world of like what you just saw in those pictures. This is, again, an good old-fashioned sea shanty, Drunken Sailor.
What will you do with the drunken sailor? What will you do with the drunken sailor? What will you do with the drunken sailor? Early in the morning.
So basically, as you can already tell if you're watching this, the footage of this is taken from that same Brick by Brick show where I just showed a bunch of photos, and I'm up there strumming away on the mandolin, which is what I usually played on this song. But when they recorded this song, I was not in the band, so the audio recording does not actually feature me, but the video, it's kind of fun. It's good. It's good memories. Ah, the pipers.
Drunken sailor, what will you do with the drunken sailor? What will you do with the drunken sailor early in the morning?
Yeah, it's funny when I go back and look at old photos. And I'm like, oh, I forgot what I looked like before I had all these tattoos. My right arm has been sleeved from chest to wrist since 2008. The left arm took a little bit longer, so I look at like pictures throughout the years where it's like phases, and it's kind of funny to look back on. Yeah, this time that I was playing with this band, I want to say it was between the years of like 2007 and 2010, maybe 2009, something. So it's feels like a lifetime ago. And
A minute
hello, good
ago.
sir. He has
Hey,
joined
buddy.
me.
Thanks for letting me
He's,
in. I
there's
appreciate it. I'm
been
rapping at the door. He's like, go
there's
away.
been no murder at the Empire yet.
No. I was trying to take care of Boo, who is apparently on a hunger strike right now. So I did not win the argument.
That's a good song by Temple of the Dog. Hunger Strike. That's a good one.
It's a better song than a life experience. So man, so Brick by Brick, you're right. That's an interesting. I played there too, back in, I think it was probably 08.
Yeah, like you're literally
there.
The only person in the chat who has any idea what I'm talking about,
What?
because
Yeah,
no
what
one
the
else from
fuck
San
is Brick
Diego.
by
But
Brick? Yeah, it's not a terrible venue, decent stage. It's all right.
I liked it a fuck of a lot better than Dream Street.
Dream Street sucks. And the problem with
I'm
Dream
so
Street,
glad that place is gone.
That place, man.
That
It was
location
a really nice venue. Actually, the venue itself was great. But
the location has changed
management-
hands multiple times
Oh
since
my
then.
God,
But the
yeah.
fact that it's no longer Dream Street makes me so happy, because not this band that I was just playing videos from, and I have one more that could be kind of fun to pull up just to go down memory lane before we talk about Shane MacGowan. But a different band, even earlier than these videos I'm pulling up, we played there one time, and they put us on their like Wednesday night.
Is this the Metal Night story?
Yeah. So
Yeah,
they
love
put
Metal
us they put us on the Wednesday night metal night. The band that I was playing with at the time was not metal. The drummer and I, he and I, like, we had this synergy between the two of us. We loved all the same bands. I mean, we were both like super into, at that point in time in the early 2000s, we were both really into Tool, Slipknot, Mudvayne, like all of that kind of stuff. A lot of what people would consider like new metal, whatever. But Tool was like a staple between the two of us. Like, he absolutely, Danny Carey was his favorite drummer. Adam Jones is still to this day one of my favorite guitarists, and just their style and everything. But they just thought, we don't really know what to do with these guys, because we just, and I know it sounds so pretentious to say, but when you're like, oh, we don't fit into one genre, but really it's like, between the four of us, we all listen to so many different styles of music that it's like, we weren't metal, we weren't punk, we weren't pop, we were just kind of whatever. I don't know what we were, but they're like, oh, let's put them on the metal night. So we're up there, we're playing. Place is freaking empty. There's like a couple people sitting.
They were
at the bar.
terrible with their advertising. Holy shit. It's the same thing, man. It's like, did you guys even bother to put any promo out for this show
Well,
at all?
they expect you to bring your crowd. So what we kept asking them is they're like, well, why can't we get a weekend? Why can't we get a Friday? Why can't we get a Saturday? They go, oh, well, you have to do the weeknight shows, and then once you draw enough people, then we'll give you a. I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. So we played this Wednesday, and they're like, there's nobody there.
Wednesdays
And
are a tough night for those of you
there
not in
was
the
there was
business.
like one
Wednesdays are tough.
guy sort of like mockingly like dancing around in like the middle of this big empty space of what would probably be a mosh pit if it was an actual metal show. And every time we finished a song, crickets, dead silent, this guy in the back of the room, Slayer. I'm like, yes, sir, we understand that you like Slayer. No, we are not a Slayer cover song, and I do not play like Carrie King. I'm sorry. I'm not that sorry. But it was just like every song we're like, all right, well, we're never playing here again. Like
we actually, in my brain, we may have played there twice, but I don't. It's hard for me to shuffle. That was just, you have those shit shows that you really just try to dump out of your brain. Dream Street was one of them. Why Jacob Ironside? Why? Why? I don't even understand. That was our Mad Max show. I don't know why now. Why? What?
Oh, I love it. I love it. Thank you, Jacob. Thank you for this early Christmas present.
Oh my God. Speaking of presents, by the way, son, someone's having a birthday soon. All right.
I know it's on Wednesday. It's fine.
No, look, I, for one, am very celebratory of your life. I am very happy to be your friend, and I'm happy that you're in my life. As your internet father, I'm happy you're here. I even have gifts. One of which we have to share together because it's probably alcohol, but it may not.
That's fair.
Alcohol.
So
it's definitely alcohol.
Again, getting completely off topic. Over the weekend, I came across an Instagram story from a little band you may have heard of, Metallica. They were Kirk Hammett and Rob Trujillo were doing a signing at a Costco of all places for the whiskey.
Oh, okay. I was like, what? Wait, what? The last album knew so poorly. Hey.
No, so
get your samples.
And here's my thing. I can understand Hetfield not showing up for the autograph signing because he is sober. He has had his bouts of being in and out of rehab, and maybe he doesn't even want to support the fact that they've made a Metallica whiskey, and I respect that. I respect his decision, whatever. But Lars wasn't even there. I'm like, Lars, what do you got going on, bro? That you couldn't show up to the signing.
Lars, anyway, I think
a lot of people, and it's like, what? Like, here's my question about Lars: is like, what does it feel like? What a weird existence to both be so universally respected and hated at the same time.
We love the band, we hate Lars. For a myriad of reasons.
That's not my point. The point.
Anyway, I'm sorry.
The point that I'm getting at, what was disappointing to me, was in this video and in this Instagram story I saw of Kirk Hammett and Rob Trujillo showing up to the Costco to autograph bottles of the whiskey and the whatnot and everything. It's hold on, let me check my watch. It's 2023, right?
I believe it is.
2023. Okay, so the thing that I'm not supposed to name has been around for going on almost 4 years.
Oh my God.
The CDC has admitted that this didn't work, that didn't work, that was a mistake. We shouldn't have done that. Kirk Hammett was wearing a mask.
Oh my God. What a effing douche. That's terrible. He
was shaking hands with people. But he was wearing a mask.
Maybe it wasn't really him. Maybe it was a disguise.
Maybe it was
just some dude. It was just like, hey, I can't. I was like, I can't come out here by myself. I need somebody else. Put on a fucking mask. You've got long hair. You're Kirk Hammett right now. But I don't want to be Kirk Hammett. You're Kirk Hammett.
So here's the other funny thing, though, is I'm thinking like the 4 different personalities within the band. James Hetfield famously moved out of California a couple years ago because he was tired of all of the policies in California. If you don't know this, James Hetfield is an avid hunter, bow hunting, actually, I think specifically. And he said that he got really tired of coming home with whatever game he hunted that day on his truck, and his neighbors like giving him shit for it. So he's like, I'm leaving, because he still lived in the Bay Area. So he's like, I'm leaving California.
How close is his fucking neighbor to him that he's giving him shit? Hetfield, you've got a lot of money, man.
Like, you want to go down in history being the guy who was giving the singer for Metallica shit about bow hunting? Like,
wow,
that's almost right up there with. So did you guys finish watching the Get Back docuseries?
We did. Yeah. Oh my God.
So,
I love that so much.
Here's my thought. So when they get to the end where they're doing their final rooftop concert, right? And the cops are there, like at the lobby of the building and stuff, and it's like, these people are now going to go down in history on film as being the Karens that shut down literally the last Beatles performance.
They didn't. I mean, they only had so many songs, but I think it was either George. I think it was George actually that said, we can always just blame the cops now if they ask us why we stopped playing so early.
But it's just funny, just the video where like the cops are like in the lobby down there, and they're like, well, it's really unnecessary, isn't it? It's bothering the other residents, and I'm like, I mean, people were like in the streets. Like if smartphones existed back then, people would have been in the streets with their phone, being like, oh my God, the Beatles are playing on the rooftop.
Well, now, yeah, I mean, it was very different. I mean, that is such a good series, and if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it.
Yeah, really good.
It's long, but it's. My wife, Mrs. of the Empire, who's not here right now, but I'll give you the what it was like in the house. Hey, Romy, are we gonna watch the Beatles docuseries? I don't know, honey. It's awful long. Oh, it'll be really good. You'll enjoy it. And then we watched it, and she, like I said, not being a musician, was like, "What the fuck is wrong with Yoko?" It was. We enjoyed it. We sat there over the course of a week and watched the series. And man, it did feel like you were there. I mean, talk about I was just amazed at why am I so big?
That's what she said.
Oh my.
Oh my.
You felt very much like you were there during that process, which was pretty incredible. So yeah, with that we watched all that, and then the records are our anniversary gift to ourselves. Our anniversary is on Saturday, so we're gonna break those albums out on Saturday.
Preemptive anniversary.
Oh,
didn't realize you guys were a December wedding.
It was I got out of boot camp on December 7th. And we got married on December 9th.
Oh, wow. Yeah, so I actually
3,000 years ago.
I just learned because I had that last minute gig pop up yesterday, and whenever this time of year rolls around, I look up also. Even though myself, I'm not Jewish, but I am a big fan of Adam Sandler. So I looked up when Hanukkah begins, and so this year Hanukkah begins on the 7th. On Thursday, so I busted out the Hanukkah song yesterday, and I think it was a big hit.
That's awesome.
I threw in Fairy Tale of New York, as well as a couple other.
You got it down. I didn't know if you were going to get it.
I did it. I know, like I said, I had to censor one word, just one word. And let me just be clear. When I censor songs at my gigs, it's not because I'm offended by them. It's not because I'm like, oh, like that's an offensive word. No, my biggest thing is it's just like, well, I'm playing at a restaurant. There's families there. Like there could be a family over here having brunch. Little Jimmy is sitting at the table, and then all of a sudden he's going to be asking his parents what that word means. And one, I'm trying to not get fired because it is money. Two, I try to keep the family friendly, so, but I looked up the singer of the band Thrice, Dustin Kensrue, has also a professional recording cover of this same song. And so I listened to his to see what he did.
Really?
He completely rewrote the second verse. Not a single word of it is the same. So I was like, well, I'm not going to go that far. It's completely because he also he doesn't have a female vocalist, so there's no back and forth.
Well, that
so even
makes
the parts,
it weird, yeah.
Even the parts where she says the lines of you were handsome, he says I was handsome. Everything is from the first person, so he does it all. Okay, but the second verse, he totally just wrote a new second verse. I only changed one word.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about.
Take him.
But yeah, so with that, let's
Take him.
is
Take 'em.
Pippin.
Thank you. So poke your hand in here, son. So this is the hand of the son of the empire.
The actual son of the empire.
Part of his noggin. He was doing a scotch delivery. Thank you, son. Since we were talking about the Pogues, I wanted to make sure I had a form of whiskey out here.
Oh, man, I don't know if I have any. Talk amongst yourselves.
All right. So here's an interesting thing. So I didn't really get to know the Pogues, as it were, until 2007. I know, which is kind of crazy.
About the same time I first heard of them too. Yeah.
Yeah, because I'd never really heard them, and when we were on cruise over, all the bad hot parts of the world that no one should ever visit willingly, my boss was a big fan of the Pogues, so he did that's music that he offered up as far as our collective music in the shop, and we got I got to learn all the Pogue stuff, which was very, very cool. And we actually used to work on different different songs, because he had an acoustic guitar out there and I had an acoustic bass out there, and we would work on different songs while we were at sea from these different bands, just to do it.
Hey.
What the fuck? What just
told me to shut up on my own channel.
No, man. Shit, man. I believe you get your ass kicked saying something like that, man.
Well, to be fair, it's me. So
around 2007 was around the same time when I first started playing with that Irish band, and at that point I had obviously discovered Flogging Molly. I had discovered Dropkick Murphys. I loved their music. I had picked up a cheap banjo and a cheap mandolin, and I would literally just listen to their songs and just kind of pluck along. I had no idea what I was doing. I wasn't learning any chords or any, because they're all different tunings, they're all different everything. But I started playing with these guys, and all of a sudden, I mean, it didn't even just have to be Christmas time. When I first joined that band, the singer Bo was married. I mean, he's married again now, but he was married to this other See You Next Tuesday back at the time, and she sang in the band. So when we did Fairy Tale in New York, they actually had that back and forth, and we did not censor it.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's weird.
Which is actually kind of ironic now because of how they had such a violent divorce.
Oh my!
After the fact.
You took my dreams from me.
It's a different story for a different time, but that was where because it's because I full disclosure, I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh man, I've been a lifelong fan of the Pogues. I'm like, no, but I started playing with this band and we did a couple of their songs, and when we would take breaks and people would come up and talk to us and ask us oh, you must be really big fans of the Pogues, and I'd be totally honest. I'm like, oh, I don't really know who they are, and people would get offended. They're like, you're playing in an Irish band and you don't know who the Pogues are? I'm like, I'm sorry. I like Flogging Molly and Dropkick Murphys, and these guys asked me to play with them, and I said yes. And
please stop yelling at me.
But so that's how I first learned about them. I was actually kind of surprised to find out that they wrote Streams of Whiskey, because if you listen to the other traditional songs that they played, like Wild Rover, like Dirty Old Town, a lot of those old traditional songs, Streams of Whiskey fits right in there, from the lyrics to the style to the everything. I've been watching over this past week all of the different bands, all the different artists posting their tributes to Shane MacGowan, and there's one guy, I think it's one of the guys from the Defiant. I think it was Johnny, whatever his name is, in the Defiant, who's also in the band Street Dogs, posted his tribute. And somebody commented on the post, oh, a real pioneer of Irish punk. And the guy that posted it came back and he was like, there was no such thing as Irish punk when the Pogues hit the scene. It's they pretty much they were pretty much just playing traditional Irish songs, but with the punk attitude. And then that spawned
Yeah,
you know,
yeah. I mean, without you and I were talking about this. What day was that, John? That was Thursday, actually. Last
I
Thursday.
don't know. It was 1,000 years ago.
It was last week. It was literally Thursday. No, you came over and that's the same day he died. And so we were discussing the relevance of the Pogues and bands, bands you don't get if there were no Pogues. You don't get Flogging Molly, you don't get um Dropkick Murphys.
Dropkick Murphys.
You probably don't get
Tim,
Rancid, which is
I even said Tim Armstrong. Like maybe Rancid would have been a band, but Tim Armstrong's vocal style might have been different.
A way different band. The Tossers out of Chicago.
Yes.
All these Irish influenced punk, which I think is a really fucking loose term, but we know what we mean when we say that. But you lose that stuff because these weirdos, back in the day, decided to get together and play hard Irish music. It's a fascinating phenomenon when you get one of these Genesis bands, the ones that started the thing. And it was just, there was so influential, and people don't even know how influential they were, because even now we know who the fuck the Pogues are, but your common fucking Joe Schmoo down at the bar who's listening to his, Flogging Molly's, The Last of the Flag, or whatever fucking song he loves.
What's left of the flag?
May not know.
Words are hard.
They are the Pogues, which is, it's just interesting. And
So,
Fairy Tale in New York pops up in regular pop culture as well, though. They may not know who it is, but they probably know that song.
No, and like I said, Streams of Whiskey is an original that they wrote that pops up a lot. But I mean, they popularized a lot of the traditional songs. Go to any Irish pub. If you go to an Irish pub that has a musician playing live music, you are guaranteed to hear Wild Rover, which is a traditional song, but they recorded that one. Dirty Old Town, traditional Irish song that the Pogues recorded. Streams of Whiskey, an original that they wrote that a lot of people play. Whiskey in the Jar, famous, very famous song, Whiskey in the Jar, traditional Irish song. So I mean, they took the traditional Irish songs, they wrote their originals, and they blended them so well that I actually had to look at the writing credits to see what did they write, what was the traditional, what was, because you really can't tell. Shane MacGowan was such a talented songwriter, and he was so ingrained in that style that you really could not tell what he wrote, what the band wrote, what was traditional. So I'm going to pull up real quick this statement from his now widow that's on the Pogues official Instagram. And I've got just a little dram of whiskey handy, and it's just a tiny little bit because it's a really smoky whiskey, so I don't want a lot of it. But a statement on behalf of Shane MacGowan's wife Victoria, Mary Clark, his sisters. I'm not going to try to pronounce that name, I'm sorry, I will butcher it and I will feel bad, and father. It is with the deepest and heaviest of hearts that we announce the passing of Shane MacGowan. Shane died peacefully at 3 a.m. this morning, this past Thursday, with his wife Victoria and family by his side. Prayers and the last rites were read, which gave comfort to the family. He is survived by his wife Victoria, his sister, his father, and family, and a large circle of friends. Further details will be announced shortly, but the family asked for privacy at this very sad time. And there he is. So, again, anyone who is familiar with him knows that he was famous for, and I don't say this to demean the man. Obviously, we're trying to honor his legacy and honor what he did, but he was known for pretty much always being drunk when recording songs, on stage, in interviews. He's also famously known for his bad teeth, which were all 100% completely replaced, I believe, by the year of 2009.
Oh, were they? The oral
surgeon, he got all new teeth in 2000. The oral surgeon said, well, at the time of him recording any and all of his songs, he had some or most of the teeth still in his head. So the oral surgeon credited himself with saying, quote, I've retuned his instrument by giving him all new teeth and all new implants and, whatever. So there is that. But another thing, so here, okay, so I wanted to look this up too. So I was like, what is a
actually
Pogue?
looking at Pogue Mahone right now on my
when they
list.
came out, like the name was originally Pogues Mahone, and they shortened it to just the Pogues. When I looked up what is a Pogue, there were a lot of like military terms actually. Like a Pogue is something, so it was something different. So I was like, okay, what's a Pogue Mahone?
Person other
Pogue
than
Mahone
drunk is
essentially means kiss my arse.
Very nice.
So when they first hit the scene as Pogues Mahone, shortened to the Pogues, that was essentially so that like right there, that paints the picture for their career of them having the punk rock attitude. Like, we're gonna play this traditional Irish music, but we're gonna call ourselves the Irish version of Kiss My Arse. They're gonna be punk rock. That's pretty punk rock. And here we go. So here's him in his later days. Died at the age of 65.
So
Wife
young,
issued
man.
a
I know he'd been
statement.
sick though, which living.
Well, so it says in here what actually was going on. So here, okay, talk about the statement. Here we go. Born on Christmas Day. Did not know that either. Shane MacGowan was born on Christmas Day in Kent, England. MacGowan spent much of his formative years in rural Tipperary town of Ninega. He claimed he had his first taste of alcohol at 5. Maybe it's up here where it says what he had going on. It's like syphilitis, or what was the word?
There it is.
There
Encephalitis.
MacGowan's wife, Victoria Mary Clark, announced news via the musician's Instagram
information,
account on Thursday. MacGowan was diagnosed with encephalitis in 2022, which is inflammation of the brain, and had been hospitalized for it recently. So while he had his bouts of alcoholism and I'm sure probably all sorts of other health issues due to that, it was essentially this condition that he had been diagnosed with, which was a swelling of the brain. So raise your glasses, if you will, to the late, great Shane MacGowan. Cheers, and we will see you on the other side, good sir.
Cheers.
Which, finding out that he was born on Christmas Day makes me feel like, even though, yes, it's kind of that thing of like, oh, picking the band's most popular song or like their one single or their one hit. Like Fairy Tale in New York seems all the more fitting now, knowing that his birthday was Christmas Day, that it's like now that he's gone, like, well, I'll play Fairy Tale in New York. I can play that song year round because people know it and still continue to pay tribute to the man who wrote the song and was born on Christmas Day. So what do we got here? Blessed with a soulful voice, MacGowan forged a blend of traditional Irish folk music and punk rock that was later mimicked outright by the band Dropkick Murphys. Flogging Molly left a clear influence on acts such as Gogol Bordello and Mumford & Sons. I don't see the Mumford & Sons influence.
Actually, I don't see Gogol Bordello either. That's
I'll take their word for it. You know, whatever. I think they're definitely more of an influence in the punk world.
Yeah,
but
although Gogol Bordello is punk-ish, they're just weird. But anyway,
Rocky Road to Dublin. Yes, it's another good one. Good old.
Yeah, I'm looking at Pogue Mahone now, which is I think probably my favorite album. That the one song is not on there, Fairy Tale in New York, but there are so many other good songs on here. How Come, When the Ship Comes In, Love You to the End, which is another one a lot of people know.
I love
4 o'clock in the morning, like Sun and the Moon, which is my personal favorite Pogue song.
Like this past weekend, I threw in a handful of songs, but like Fairy Tale in New York it's two things. I'm an opportunist in that when it's a particular season, I'm going to try to learn songs that fit the season, whether it's St. Patty's Day, whether it's Christmas, whether it's whatever. But then also, if a particular artist that I have a lot of respect for passes away, I especially try to throw those in as quickly as possible into my sets. And I ask anyone who's paying attention, listening, to raise a glass, raise a cheers to, and do this. And this is the perfect blend of he just passed and it's Christmas. But I would say probably my favorite song of theirs, original song, is Streams of Whiskey, which I have been playing for a while. I usually only pull it out around St. Patty's Day, but this is a perfect excuse to be like, oh, the great late Shane MacGowan just passed away.
Yeah.
Let's do some Streams of Whiskey. So I love that song, Streams of Whiskey. It's just like, it's got that chorus. It just makes everybody want to sing along. It's got that very traditional Irish sound to it. And then, like I said, just for good measure, I threw in Dirty Old Town because I think their recording of it is one of the more popular ones, but that is a traditional song. Sorry.
I couldn't get to the mute buttons fast enough. I was like,
sorry about it.
Get there.
Yeah, so what in the world? What is this? Capitalizing on this notoriety, MacGowan formed
God.
punk band The Nipple Erectors, later just The Nips, and made the rounds in the local circuit. That's fun. The Nips broke up in 1981.
You can't buy
it. Go ahead.
I mean, you can buy it. You're not going to buy it because it's $900 for the vinyl.
Oh, good Lord. No.
That's on Amazon, dude. That's on Amazon.
Oh, so here, it's already in the article. I didn't have to look it up. Now calling themselves Pogue Mahone, Irish for Kiss My Ass. I like Kiss My Arse better. It's a lot more fun.
They toured with the Clash. So funny thing. I mean, for a short period, very short period, Joe Strummer took over vocals for them. They must have been going through one of their fucking angry breakup phases. But Joe Strummer from the Clash sang with the Pogues.
Interesting.
Weird, I know.
Let's see, sign At the time, MacGowan explained the group's idiosyncratic style, thusly saying, quote, "I never thought of playing Irish music on stage, but it became obvious that everything that could be done with a standard rock format had been done, usually quite badly, especially in the 80s. I'm not going to apologize for that. I think the 80s were one of the worst decades for music. We just wanted to shove music that has roots and is generally stronger and has more real anger and emotion down the throats of completely pap-oriented pop audience." Again, the punk rock attitude. That's where, because really, you listen to their recordings, you think you're just listening to traditional Irish music, but it was the attitude, it was the punk, like it was just the like, F you, we don't care what you think, punk rock.
The Irish were they're an angry people. They're mad. They got a lot to be mad about.
Yeah, because they drink whiskey and they.
I didn't know that Elvis Costello produced Rum Sodomy and the Lash. I just learned that.
Interesting.
At this moment.
Okay.
I love Elvis Costello.
And I often tell this joke also at my gigs now that when I was preparing for St. Patty's Day gig earlier this year, I did not know until this year that Van Morrison was Irish. Yeah. So I'm pulling stuff up on Spotify being like, just play some Irish music. I'm trying to find songs that are like popular, because from my days of playing with an Irish band and from things that I enjoy listening to, I know what I like. But at the same time, I'm like, well, what are like some popular Irish songs that I know people are going to know? Obviously, I know people are going to know Whiskey in the Jar because it's been covered to death. Right. Even Metallica did a version of Whiskey in the Jar. Wild Rover. Okay. And there's certain songs where you can kind of teach people because it's a simple verse, a simple chorus, teach them, okay, you clap here. But I was just trying to find like, what's popular, what's out there? What are other people listening to? And Van Morrison kept popping up. Brown Eyed Girl kept popping up. And I'm like, what in the world? Like, why does Van Morrison keep coming up on my like Irish playlist? And I look him up and like, dude, 100% from Ireland. And I was like, I did not know that. So I constantly crack a joke now that Brown Eyed Girl is officially a St. Patty's Day song.
And everyone likes to sing that song.
It's another one that makes people.
You should try to sing it with an accent, though. I know he didn't, but
people don't sing with accents, though. Like we were talking about this the other day, that for the longest time, when I was a kid and I first discovered Led Zeppelin, I didn't know that Led Zeppelin was British because I just listened to their music. I never saw interviews. I never heard them speak. They sang their songs without a British accent. And I thought, okay, Led Zeppelin, cool, fine, whatever. AC/DC is another really common one. AC/DC is often like, they seem like the stereotypical like American like rock and roll band. They're from Australia. It's like, If you'd never watch an interview, you'd never know. Eric Clapton really, really threw me off.
Yeah.
I, for a good portion of my life, had no idea that Eric Clapton was British because, again, you just hear his songs. I'd never seen interviews with him. I'd never heard the man speak. I didn't know Bush, Gavin Rossdale, no idea. So most people from other countries do not sing with their accents. So I don't know how you would sing with an Irish accent, but
Isn't
Van
it
Morrison
peculiar that
definitely
when you
did
sing,
not.
you drop an accent unless you're singing like, deep roots fucking Irish
Well, maybe I
stuff.
mean
But
the idea with that is maybe these people like Van Morrison, like AC/DC, like Led Zeppelin, because maybe they grew up listening to American music, so
I
maybe
don't
they
think that's the
speak a
case.
certain
I
way. Do you
I
think
think
maybe
it's
like
just
they speak a certain way,
I
but
just
they
think
grew
I
up
think when you
singing?
sing, it just the way it all comes out, it doesn't lend itself to the accent.
Huh,
Why
interesting.
is that? I don't know. But I mean, back to the early days of rock and recordings, these guys, the Beatles don't sing with an accent. Um,
Right.
so everything that they'd ever been exposed to music wise, um, I find it fast. Like I said, unless you're listening to generally traditional stuff for whatever reason, and then maybe. But I think it's just I just think it's the way the whole thing works. I don't know why. Fuck, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I don't think it was an exposure factor.
Interesting. Yeah, I guess I've never really put a lot of thought into as to the why, but no, with the exceptions of maybe like the Kinks and like maybe just a couple others. Like most singers do not sing with their accent. Do we sing with American accents? I don't know. Like
there is no American accent. American accent is lack of accent.
Apparently, people in other countries say that we have an accent, but okay. So my brain is all over the place and not quite working right. I've been meaning to tell this story all night, and it keeps slipping my mind. So my gig yesterday. Oh boy, let me tell you this. Playing down by the beach is an adventure. I'm very quickly going to go open another beer before I get to this story, but playing down at the beach is an adventure. I will say that. Because you occasionally encounter homeless population.
Oh Lord!
Which is, this is Gavin Newsom's world. This is where everyone's doing a great job. Had just a tiny sip of whiskey left in there. Couldn't let that go to waste. Not gonna get super political, but to anyone here who watched the debate last week or saw even highlights of it, Newsom dodged every single question that was thrown his way, and even went so far as to praise President Biden about how he's doing a wonderful, fantastic job. To which then DeSantis pulled up the poop map.
Oh, that was great.
That showed the map of like the human feces all over just the city of San Francisco, like not even the whole state of California, just San Francisco, where Gavin Newsom was famously the mayor and then was promoted up to governor. Reelected twice, survived recall election. I don't understand what the actual. I'm trying so hard not to cuss.
I don't know either. I don't understand. I don't understand the regular people of California. They are either just so underinformed. I don't want to turn this into a thing.
I mean, that's fine. This is what I do on my channel all the time. I say go for it, but it's just like either. Well, I think when it came to the recall election, I think there were just a lot of people who just didn't show up. I think people were just like, I don't care. I'm not going to vote one way or the other, whatever. Like, it's just like people just didn't vote. Anyways, so to get back to my story about talking about this is, Biden's America. This is Gavin Newsom's California. So I play music on the side as my side hustle outside of my full-time job. I play at this restaurant that literally faces the ocean at least 2, 3, maybe 4 times a month, where I'm up here on the front of the restaurant. There's the boardwalk, there's the seawall, there's the ocean. I'm grateful that it's not Pacific Beach, because if this was Pacific Beach, this would probably be a daily occurrence. But in La Jolla, it's a little more upscale. It's a little nicer. Okay. So yeah, if you got a dip,
I
you got a dip.
yeah,
But I
I
got
gotta
to
roll
tell
out.
this
You know,
story. But
I'll talk to you in a couple days. Finish your homeless story.
So real quick though, what do you got
California.
going on this week?
Nothing. Literally nothing.
Are you streaming on Thursday or?
No, I don't have a show this Thursday. That's the day that Mrs.
Okay.
the Empire gets back from her trip. So this is a
So she comes back on Thursday. Following week, anything? Anything to
yeah,
plug?
I'm doing a show with Ego on. My days are kind of cocked up here. Let me look at the calendar here. I'm sorry. I'm trying to rush, which I never do well. On the 12th.
Okay.
On the 12th, I'm on with Pops. Actually, we're going to be. I don't know if we're going to be live or we're going to be recording. We're going to be talking about a Christmas story, though. I think we're going to be live for that.
Okay. So next Tuesday the 12th, tune in for that.
And then Wednesday the 13th, Ego and I looks like 5:00 over on his channel. These are all on Pop's channel and then Ego's channel. We're going to be doing another action figure show. Those are always a really fun time. And then Thursday is going to be another Thursday the 14th. We're way in the future now. We're going to be just doing another free range stream. And then the 21st, we're doing our big wrap up show with our favorite Christmas movies. That's the last show of the year. So
okay, so you said definitely nothing. Oh, because you thought obviously like Mrs. the Empire gets back anniversary. So nothing this week.
Yeah, hot
next week, check out what he's doing. Check out what he's got going on. But always appreciate you popping in. So
thanks for letting me in, buddy.
Man, always. Anytime, open invite anytime you want in.
Happy birthday, buddy. It's early, but
2 days away, but yeah.
Yeah, but we're not going to be on stream then. So
no.
All right, I almost pushed the end stream button, but I'm not going to do that to you. So
who does something like that? That would be really stupid.
That guy. Okay. All right, buddy. Hey, and everybody who's out there, Jacob and Lady Marine, have a good night, and I'll see you guys around the interwebs. Take care, bud.
Later, bud. I'll see you soon. Yeah, so I'm playing my gig, and got this weird homeless guy roaming around the boardwalk, and I'm like just starting my third set. So like I basically do a set about an hour, take a break, do an hour, take a break, whatever. And I'm coming up my third and final set of the day. I'm just getting ready to start playing my first song of my last set. This guy's walking his dog in socks, no shoes, just his dog, his socks, and this really, really big oversized hoodie, which I'm really afraid that that's the only thing that he was wearing. And there were some moments there where it looked like he was quite possibly looking to try to take a shit on the boardwalk. He shouts something at me, and I'm kind of like, okay, whatever. Like people can scream at me, people can shout at me. I don't really care. Like I just take it in stride. I start playing my songs. I do my thing. It's fine. Like I don't have any feelings to hurt. I'm not bothered by anything because I kind of have this mental wall set up of you're down there on the boardwalk screaming at me. I'm up here on the front stoop of the restaurant. Okay, fine, whatever. But he kept hanging around for, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes, and he was going over to one side and he was like hanging around where people were sitting down and having brunch. And then he goes over to kind of this other side of the patio where there was this group of like young girls sitting there having drinks and stuff, and he was just screaming and shouting and everything and stuff. And in certain parts of San Diego and especially certain parts of California, this is an everyday occurrence. This is a normal thing. So it's like you can expect that maybe they're going to go about their way. But after a while, it's kind of like, well, it's been about 20, 30 minutes. I've got a microphone. I've got a speaker inside the bar. I'm outside of the restaurant here. And so finally, I was like, okay, hey, because I know they have security. They got people with earpieces and polo shirts that come out and, monitor their shit. I'm just kind of like, hey, I don't know if we got a security or something around here, but we have a rather aggressive individual out here. So he came up, he screamed something else at me and then took off because obviously I'd called him out and said, it's like, hey, like we're about to have security come out. They're not going to do anything. All they're going to do is just, tell him to, move along. It's not like they're going to arrest him and put him in jail or anything, but it's just like, hey, you can stand on the boardwalk and scream and shout at me all you want and stuff, but when it's like customers and groups of young girls and stuff, it's like, we need someone out here to shuffle this guy along. So that was a fun moment from the last minute gig yesterday. And then I guess I can kind of end with this because we've talked about the Pogues, we've talked about everything. We're bringing it full circle back around about how my weekend went. I just today was approved for a gig in a particular establishment that I've been trying for over a year to get into. It's in kind of a hotel area. A lot of people are probably coming in and out of town for business, conventions, whatever, all sorts of stuff. So I'm hoping that the tips are good. So I'm going to play there this coming Friday, but is finally getting approved for this gig that I've been trying to get for the longest time. I got my like Google document of here's the rules, here's what to expect, here's whatever. It was like wear a collared shirt, no t-shirts allowed. That's reasonable. That's totally reasonable. I'm not mad at that. And it was like going through all the other stuff. And again, this is another place that says no alcohol. I get $30 for food, which if you're not familiar, in Southern California, most mid to upscale places in Southern California, $30 will barely get you an entree. But again, I'm not trying to be all like prima donna. I'm not mad at that, whatever. But then it was like no alcohol purchases will be allowed. So this will now be the second place I'm playing where they say I'm not even allowed to drink on the premise. And obviously, as my first time playing there, I'm not going to take the risk of bringing my cooler, bringing my cup, because the people at the beach, they're on to me. They haven't said anything, but they're on to me. First time playing somewhere is kind of like a job interview. It's like show up, wear the collared shirt, wear the hat that's not a trucker hat or a ball cap or something. Follow all the rules, do the thing, and then once I've proven myself, once I've proven that I can do the job, then the middle fingers come out and say, well, like I've proven that I'm good at what I do, so what are you going to do to me now? But the funniest one of all, the funniest part was the part of the document that says, well, we want lively, upbeat music. Okay, fine, cool. I can do lively, upbeat music. I'm good with that. I can play to any and all crowds and audiences and everything. But then in the bottom, I should have pulled it up in my it's going to take too long to try to pull it up on my photos. I can just tell you and you can use your imagination. The funniest part in this document talking about like, we want lively, upbeat, interactive, fun songs stuff was it said in bold lettering. They actually made a point to like make it bold, was even if a guest requests a melancholy song, we require that the musician keep it lively, fun, and upbeat. So I play a wide variety of songs. I'm everything from upbeat, low, mellow, chill, whatever. So I'm thinking, okay, if I'm up there like rocking some, I don't know, like some Johnny Cash, like some Folsom Prison Blues or something, and all of a sudden someone comes up and says, "Oh well, we want to hear Blackbird by the Beatles," and am I supposed to just be like, I guess I could say I don't know that song, but then I would be lying. And then that hurts my conscience because I'm like, okay, I got to just basically lie to these people and say like, oh, I'm sorry. Like, I don't know the song that you're requesting, even though I do know the song, but they don't want the musicians to play mellow songs. So it's not like, I understand the request. I understand the thing of keep it upbeat, keep it lively, keep it fun. But the part of like when it says, even if someone requests, I'm like, well, if someone's going to come up and put money in my tip jar and request something, if I am able to fulfill that request, I feel like I would like to fulfill that request because they have given me money. They have asked for something that I can play. Because more often than not, people ask for songs that I don't know. I don't understand how or why Rod Stewart has just recently become cool again with young people. I could not name a Rod Stewart song if I had a gun to my head. But that one comes up a lot. I will never learn Fleetwood Mac songs because I hate Fleetwood Mac. Anyways, I'm going on a tirade here. I'm going on a little bit of a rant. But anyways, I think this is probably as good a place as any to end the stream. We had a special guest appearance from Roman. We talked about the Pogues. We talked about my younger years of playing in Irish bands and showed pictures and videos of myself before I was completely covered in tattoos. So I think at this point in time, let's see, where are we at? It is the 4th. So I will probably still do streams on the 11th and the 18th. Obviously, the 25th, Christmas, is a Monday. We will not do a Mixtape Mondays that day. But you can count on at least 2 more this month, the 11th and the 18th. Oh, how's it going, Blair? Hopefully you were able to enjoy somewhat of a normal Thanksgiving with your family. I think Roman said that he got a little more of the details and updates from you, but all that being said, man, I hope you're doing well. I hope you're on the mend and that you didn't have to spend Thanksgiving in a hospital. What did I ruin? What did I ruin? I'm going to sit here and wait until you respond. Well, that's good. That's good to hear. I'm glad things are going better, because I know at one point Roman let me know kind of what was going on. He's saying it's making it sound like you might have had to spend Thanksgiving in a hospital. Fleetwood Mac is terrible. There, I said it. Yeah. And I'm not the least bit sorry about it. They're one of the worst bands in the world. You can't tell me what to do. So anyways, we are the worst band ever. Literally the worst band ever. Quite possibly worse than Nickelback. So we're over the hour and 20-minute mark. So that's about as close as I get to the hour and a half mark. I usually try to keep these at about an hour. I guess it doesn't really matter that much because I pull these down afterwards. There's no rewatchability because you can't watch them after it's over. But apparently I really struck a nerve on the Fleetwood Mac thing. Nope, I'm not sorry. Oh, unpopular opinion, I also hate Journey. This is when everybody unsubscribed from my channel. I'm getting downvotes and unsubs like crazy right now. I said what I said and I stand by it. Well, sometimes you just have to agree to disagree. All right, but with that, with all the shenanigans, I'm gonna go ahead and call it a night. It's been a long weekend. It's been a long day, and yeah, thank you guys all so much for being here. I think as of right now, 359 subscribers. Definitely gonna try to get some more short form videos out during the week, but more than ever this time of year is definitely wild and crazy, much like Steve Martin and Dan Aykroyd on Saturday Night Live in the 70s. But try my best to try to get more content back out there. But between now and the new year, we'll see what happens. But I am going to sign off for the night. So thank you all so much for hanging out. Rest in peace to Mr. Shane MacGowan of the Pogues. I'll see all of you next time.
Merry Christmas!